Hi, I'm Eddie Claycomb, and we're going to cook some sausage and chicken gumbo tonight. Now, the Cajuns cook two types of gumbo. They cook a seafood gumbo that's usually a tomato and okra base, and then they cook a sausage and chicken gumbo, which is a roux base. I'm going to show you a couple of shortcuts tonight and show you how to get this going in a hurry. It'll become one of your favorite dishes in the winter. I've got a pretty basic cookbook here. It's got a great name, Who's Your Mama? Are You Catholic? And Can You Make a Roux? And inside is a story of a lady that was raised in South Louisiana, which generally means south of I-10, Cajun country. And in it, it's got the various recipes that she learned growing up, why dad had a fish camp, why you cook gumbo and oysters in the winter, why you cook crawfish in the spring, etc., etc. The basic recipe for almost all Cajun gumbos starts with what they call the Trinity. It starts with onions, green onions, some garlic, some bell peppers, and some celery. This particular one calls for 2 onions, a little bit of green onion, some garlic, a cup of a bell pepper or 1 sweet pepper, 2 stalks of celery. I tend to use just a little bit more. And then we're going to season it with a couple of things. We're going to put a couple of 3 bay leaves in it. I almost always cook my Cajun dishes with Tony Sactre. He's got the right mix of paprika, hot cayenne pepper, whatever you need. The chicken stock that I'm going to put in here is more important than anything else. It's low sodium. And so when you've got a low sodium, you can always add salt to it. Very difficult to take it away. Most roux recipes start with a cup of flour and a cup of oil. And then you cook it about 30 minutes or so, maybe 40 minutes. You want to get it good pecan brown. I'm going to show you a little trick. We're going to put a cup and a cup in a Pyrex dish. We're going to put it on medium in the microwave. Cook it 5 minutes, stir it. Cook it 5 minutes, stir it. And then from then forward, 2.5 minutes at a time, stirring every time. And I'm going to add just a little bit of flour as it's heating, and it's going to get very nice and pecan brown, walnut brown. And then I'm going to be softening my vegetables in a big pot that I have over here on the range. And I'm going to do that probably with some salt pork, which always gives it a great flavor. And then we're going to get all those in. We're going to add the roux back into it, add the chicken stock, and I've got a shortcut with the chicken I'll show you in a minute, and the sausage, and it's going to be ready to eat tonight. But each day the gumbo is going to get better. So you cool it down, put it in the refrigerator, bring it back out, warm it up again. And what I do is I make fresh rice every day. That keeps the meal good and fresh, and it's going to be so good. Just a little chef trick here. A lot of really good chefs will cook with salt pork or bacon. This is a big block of salt pork. It's got the tough skin on it, and I'm going to cut down to it. So I slice down to the skin, and I'm just going to fillet that off a little bit. You see it coming off. And this will give a really great flavor to our vegetables as we saute those. This is going to work later as I show you how to make good red sauce for your pasta dishes and how you make a number of things. Start with the salt pork. Cutting board when I'm cutting my vegetables, and I've got my onions and green onions in one pot. I've got my red pepper. You can use just a green bell pepper. I like the red because it gives a little flavor and a little snap to it. And then the celery. I'm probably going to add a couple more stalks of celery in there. You take your garlic cloves and you go, how much garlic? Well, to taste, but believe me, I'm going to cook a big pot of gumbo, and it's going to, it can use a little bit of garlic. You're going to learn to love garlic and get the flavor in there, and it's going to work wonderful. Now, watch this. Nobody likes to peel garlic, so we're just going to place a big cutting knife on it, pop it once. That may be 2 of them in there. And then usually I can cut the ends off, and it peels very quickly at that point. Let's see what it does. And then the peeling just comes off of it, and there's your little garlic clove. And that's a little trick, and we'll continue to teach some tricks and things to speed up our process and make the cooking part more enjoyable for you. It is looking almost perfect here. I'll stir it one more time, put it in, and should be just about done. Turning a nice pecan brown, and it's just going to be so good. All right, I'm browning let's finish with what I'm doing. I'm browning the sausage just a little bit. Brown that, pull it out to the side, add my vegetables in, soften them. Many recipes call for just taking the roux, putting it in, putting your vegetables in. I like to soften them a little bit. It just seems like it tastes better to me. And we're going to get all that cooking, then we're going to put our chicken stock in, get that cooking well, and then we're going to put our chicken in, but I'm going to show you one more shortcut that I use with the chicken to speed up this whole process. Then I've got the browned venison, both the hot and the regular hot link. I've got my vegetables are now sauteing, and I've got getting those good and soft, and they're in the drippings from the salt pork and a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of butter. And then over here I've got the rotisserie chicken that I told you we were buying. The legs and the thighs have fallen apart. I'm just going to cut right down the middle of the thigh of the breast, and we're going to take one of these off, and I'm just going to show you how easily these come apart. Boom, the whole thing is there. No secret to it. Leave the skin. We don't want the skin in our good gumbo. We've got some great gumbo going. And just cut it sideways. There's no specialty to it. It's going to shred pretty well once you get it in the broth and get it cooking. Now I'm going to do that with both breasts. I'm going to do it with the thigh meat, the leg meat, maybe not the wing because I've got so much. I'll take what I can and get it in there. Cook with good meat. You go down to South Louisiana sometime and you'll see chicken neck gumbo or something that just you go, why in the world would I do that? Most of us have enough money to go buy $5 for a rotisserie chicken. We have some flour and some oil, and you can cook a wonderful meal with it. Start with good meats. You'll end up with good food when it's through. So I'm going to add a couple of boxes of chicken stock. I usually add them one at a time, let them go. I'm going to add my 3 bay leaves. I've got about 2.5, 3 bay leaves because this is going to be a big pot of gumbo. I sometimes will add a little bit more water in a little while. Now, you can't jump in the pot with it. You've still got to let the spices and all the mix go together. So let it cook for a little bit, maybe 30 minutes, an hour. We're going to add our chicken to it and our sausage and season it with Tony. We're going to put some Tony in there now and then. And again, use it just about like salt. Don't overdo it. It does have cayenne pepper, and it has paprika and a few things in it, and it can get hot if you're not careful, and it can get too salty also. Hence the low sodium chicken stock that we use that keeps us from getting it too salty. I've been adding the venison sauces that we browned back in. I want to cover one thing real quick. I'm going to put the lid back on while this is cooking, turn it down just a hair bit more. You can cook this basic recipe with many things. I've cooked it with dove. You can put duck in it. You can put goose in it. You can put andouille sausage, which is the traditional Cajun meal of chicken and sausage gumbo. A lot of them add oysters to it. My wife doesn't particularly care for the oyster. Speaking of what my wife likes, she's not necessarily an outdoor game person, but I bring the game in, I treat it good. When I kill it, or harvest it, I take care of it. I keep it cold, I field dress it, I get it on ice, I protect it. This particular sausage we took to a processor, a cactus processor in El Dorado, Texas. He mixes 30 or 40% pork butt with it, which is a shoulder. He mixes a lean cut. He doesn't just mix some kind of lard with it. Yeah, it costs me a little bit. You can make it yourself. He does an excellent job. We use Kubi's here in Dallas, some that does a great job. Many great processors, but enjoy your game. God made these animals for us to enjoy, to harvest, and to bring home and to cook. It is such fun to cook them, and they taste so good. I can't wait till you make your own gumbo and add your little twist to it and start enjoying the outdoors like we do.